Volume 5. Stardew Forest. Chapter 31. Forest King, Titan Giant Ape. Tang San said, "Even more influential is aimless massacre. One spirit master in his life only needs 9 spirit beasts at most. But, how many spirit beasts does one spirit master have to hunt and kill in his life? Let alone others, even us, on this journey when encountering some aggressive 10-year and 100-year spirit beasts, still can't help but act. And for those people making a living hunting spirit beasts, the numbers slaughtered are geometrically multiplied. After a long time like this, the vocation of spirit master will one day have no rings to use." Zhao Wuji said, "Well, don't say this. This isn't something you and me are capable of controlling. At most we can only kill a bit fewer, that's all. Little San, I've decided, if tomorrow we still can't find you a spirit beast, we will go a bit deeper to search the inner parts of Stardew Great Forest. There will always be a spirit ring suitable to you. Rest assured." Tang San smiled slightly, saying, "Teacher Zhao, this problem has actually never worried me. However, I have all along not had the opportunity to apologize to you. That time when competing against you, you all along started off leniently, yet I." Zhao Wuji laughed bitterly, shaking his hand towards Tang San. "It's all right, you can't keep carrying that awkward incident, I've already forgotten it." The two looked at each other, unable to help showing smiling expressions. At that moment, suddenly, the smiling expression in Zhao Wuji's eyes faded in a flash, one hand sharply grabbing Tang San's shoulder to pull him close, cold and severe atmosphere surging from Zhao Wuji's body. Following a deep roar, he directly summoned his spirit, vigorous Vajra bear, and in a moment finishing body transformation. "Everyone leave the tents. Quickly!" Zhao Wuji roared deeply, the strong sound reaching the insides of the tents. After several days of cooperation, the students had long ago reached a certain rapport, lightning quick making their way out of the tents. "Teacher Zhao, why?" Dai Mabai reached Zhao Wuji's side in one sudden big stride, puzzled, asking him. Zhao Wuji did not answer his question. "Everyone get behind me. If in a moment something happens, you must not distract me. Leave immediately and speak again after first leaving Stardew Great Forest. Mabai, when I'm not present, I'll leave the responsibility of protecting everyone to you." Whether it was Dai Mabai, Tang San or the others, no one understood what had happened that unexpectedly made the always overly confident in his strength Zhao Wuji this nervous, but at this moment, they suddenly saw a strange scene. In the direction Zhao Wuji was looking, 2 large trees suddenly slowly parted to either side, and an enormous silhouette noiselessly walked out. Seeing this big animal, they all seemed to stop breathing, and everyone finally understood what was actually worrying Zhao Wuji. This was an existence like a mountain, black fur all over its body faintly twinkling with luster under the weak illumination of the moon and stars. Even though it was 4-limbed, the height of its shoulders already at least outstripped 7 meters. If it stood upright, the height might be over 15 meters. On the surface, this was an existence both like monkeys and a black orangutan. Apart from a pair of lantern-sized eyes with a yellow crystal-like luster, its whole body was pitch black. At night, if it didn't move, even its body would look indistinct. This big animal's body was actually too majestic, its condition unimaginably awesome. Not only was its body enormous, but all over its entire body it was covered with muscles even tougher than granite, protruding like little hills. But such an enormous animal did not make any noise while walking, not even the sound of breathing. Seeing it, the first to recognize it was Tang San. Relying on the knowledge Grandmaster instilled in him, he practically immediately distinguished this big animal's category. "It's actually the Forest King, Titan Giant Ape." Even the always calm Tang San, right now had a somewhat shaky voice. Titan Giant Ape appeared in any spirit beast forest, and all were absolute existences like overlords. There were no spirit beasts that dared offend it, because the result would inevitably be death. Even if it was only 100-year Titan Giant Ape, it could still measure up against other 10,000-year level spirit beasts. They possessed incomparable physical strength and speed. Attack and defense were practically without any flaws. But most terrifying, they could even use skills similar to spirit abilities. No one knew what the Titan giant ape's true ability was, because on seeing these skills humans were already dead. Similarly, for all 10,000-year spirit beasts their actual strength was decided differently. This was in itself a question of properties. But Titan giant ape, among all spirit beasts, clearly stood among a small number of types of spirit beasts at the summit of the pyramid. The terror it could produce was the nightmare of practically all spirit masters. Previously, an unknown number of spirit masters had coveted the power of the Titan giant ape, hoping to be able to kill it for their spirit ring. But the people with this kind of notion also strived hard in vain, completely vanishing from this world. Among known spirit masters, apparently only one person had ever killed a Titan giant ape, and furthermore alone, that's all. Titan giant ape did not only have formidable strength, but they even possessed intelligence no less than humans. Within the forest, it was an absolute king. Whether it was Tang San or Zhao Wuji, neither had in any way expected that this kind forest king and spirit beast king, that even if one existed should live at the core of Stardew Great Forest, would appear here. Respected forest king, we did not mean to offend. If this is your territory, we will immediately withdraw. Zhao Wuji said in a low voice. He knew that Titan giant apes were capable of understanding human speech. Especially such a powerful Titan giant ape as this, which clearly already outstripped 10,000 years of cultivation. He really could not imagine a spirit beast more formidable than this one. The Titan giant ape did not take any notice of Zhao Wuji's words. It only did one simple thing that made everyone's hearts leap into their throats. Because it took one step forward, even though it was only one step, with its majestic body, this step already pulled close the distance to everyone from Shrek Academy. Zhao Wuji's brain right now worked at full speed, but at most only 4 words appeared. What can be done? Yes, right now what could be done? Although Zhao Wuji was confident in his strength, he was very clear on the terror of this Titan giant ape was above the unrivaled dragon serpent husband and wife pair. He would prefer to confront a titled Douluo, but absolutely did not wish to confront a spirit beast king like this. Just like what Tang San said before, spirit masters massacring spirit beasts made all spirit beasts regard humans with hatred. This spirit beast king clearly was no exception. Facing it, Zhao Wuji knew that even defending himself was an issue, let alone speaking of protecting the others. But, at this moment, how could he still cower back? Clenching his teeth, Zhao Wuji said in a low voice, "I'll hold it off. You immediately eat Oscar's mushroom sausage and leave. I'm afraid I won't last long. You must act quickly." Leaving behind these words, Zhao Wuji took a deep breath. Over his body 7 rings of light releasing a great radiance, rushing to meet the Titan giant ape. The first, second, third and fifth rings of light flared simultaneously. Confronting this tyrannical opponent, the motionless bright king immediately used 4 of his spirit abilities. The light from 4 spirit rings simultaneously flaring was somewhat dazzling, motionless bright king body protecting him, gravity control with Zhao Wuji as its center completely enveloping the Titan giant ape, gravity crush mobilizing in concert with gravity control, as much as possible restricting the Titan giant ape's body. At the same time, both his palms whirled, using vigorous Vajra palm at full strength, tyrannical energy fluctuations suddenly releasing, Zhao Wuji took advantage of a tall tree to the side to leap high into the air, both hands swirling, not in the least sparing spirit power, throwing himself straight at the Titan giant ape. "Tang San, you cover everyone's departure, I will assist teacher Zhao." Dai Mabai explained, dashing forward with a loud tiger howl to the sky. He naturally also knew that the Titan giant ape was formidable. Therefore, he directly used not only his white tiger spirit, but simultaneously also in a flash started his most powerful 3rd spirit ability, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. Dai Mabai's body, which had originally become full of power from White Tiger body enhancement, swelled once again, the muscles themselves swelling exaggeratedly, the clothes over his body completely bursting, exposing a frightfully muscled silhouette. Most strange was, on his skin appeared black horizontal stripes, and if it wasn't hairless it would be no different from tiger skin. A pair of hands again larger, the sharp blades ejected on the surface all became bright silver. Most peculiar was, all over his body he was shrouded in an intense golden light, as if he was gilded. Blood-red eyes shining with bloodthirst, all over the whole body wearing that kind of king among beasts aggressiveness. Attack and defense abruptly upgraded, Dai Mabai at once sending out that tiger roar sprinted with full power. Zhao Wuji's goal was the top of the Titan giant ape's head, but Dai Mabai's goal were the forelimbs supporting the Titan giant ape's body. You go. I have to help them and can't leave. A warm and soft yet resolute voice rose. A dazzlingly beautiful 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda rotated out from the center of Ning Rongrong's palm. Over these days, her coordination with everyone had always conformed, without showing any errors, also without erupting into her young lady character, gradually becoming accepted by everyone. Who couldn't acknowledge that the 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda indeed had its original position, being known as the foremost auxiliary spirit absolutely wasn't false. 7 treasure words, first spoken, strength. 7 treasure words, second spoken, speed. Following Ning Rongrong's brief and clear voice, 4 lines of light simultaneously shot out, 2 of them falling on Zhao Wuji's body just as he was about to attack the top of the Titan giant ape's head. The 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda spirit's most powerful trait was how its amplification disregarded the foundation. Ning Rongrong's amplification effect was currently 30%, in other words, no matter how strong the subject was in itself, they would all have an amplification range of 30%. 37th ranked Dai Mabai had his strength and speed amplified by 30%, and 76th ranked Zhao Wuji as well. Indeed, under Ning Rongrong's 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda amplification, Zhao Wuji's speed suddenly increased. The spirit power over his 2 bare paws also strengthened somewhat, in a flash already having risen up over 80th ranked spirit power attack power. Of the altogether 7 students, 2 already decided to stay behind. Could the others truly leave? Over several days of cooperation, they had long ago already formed a good rapport. Tang San did not even say anything, only clapped Fatty's shoulder and dashed out, his meaning very clear: the mission boss Dai handed over is up to you to complete. Tang San's goal was the same as Dai Mabai's. Both were the Titan giant ape's forelimbs. However, Dai Mabai was attacking, but Tang San was binding blue-silver grass without stinting in the least, rushed out frantically, going directly for the Titan giant ape's forelimbs, looking to as far as possible restrict its movements. Because Tang San clearly understood that the Titan giant ape did not only have tyrannical attack and defense, although its body was enormous, its speed was still extremely terrifying. Ning Rongrong fully displayed her auxiliary system spirit master effects, at the same time as Tang San quickly rushed out, 2 lines of light also attached to his body. 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda's support was definitely a kind of pleasure. Physical strength and speed in a flash increased 30%. That kind of feeling was somewhat wonderful. Tang San's blue-silver grass immediately became even more lush, firmly twining around the Titan giant ape's 2 forelimbs. The sharp thorns on blue-silver grass strived even harder to sting, earnestly hoping to be able to rely on the poison to cause some harm to the Titan giant ape. Zhu Zhuqin's body vanished at the same time Tang San rushed out. Of course she didn't leave. Right now, she already soared to the tree that Zhao Wuji jumped off from, flying about, trying to find an opportunity to attack. Fatty Ma Hongjin muttered something unknown to himself. The 2 spirit rings on his body released a strong glow, his entire body engulfed in purple fire. His second spirit ability, Bathing Fire Phoenix, was not only capable of protecting him, at the same time it could also amplify his first spirit ability, Phoenix Firewire. A Phoenix Firewire as thick as an arm spitted out of his mouth. However, this fellow was very sneaky. His target was a certain area under the abdomen of the Titan giant ape. Fatty, of course, didn't know what gender the Titan giant ape was. He only knew that no matter the gender, that kind of place definitely was a weak spot. Xiao Wu left almost at the same time as Zhu Zhuqing, but she chose a different tree. Actually, dealing with the kind of fortified for combat creatures like the Titan giant ape was what she was least adept at, but Xiao Wu still rushed forward without hesitation. No one knows why, but her face instead looked somewhat relaxed. However, at times like these no one would pay attention to her expression. Oscar didn't charge forward, but his mouth repeated the same sentence over and over again. "I, your father, have a mushroom sausage," striving to prepare everyone's escape tool. Hong, Zhao Wuji's two vigorous Vajra palms, after 30% amplification, heavily slammed onto the Titan giant ape's head. The instantaneous increase in power and speed made Zhao Wuji very satisfied with his attack this time. He could be certain, other than activating his seventh spirit ring, this was already his peak strength. But a scene that made everyone horrified appeared. The moment Zhao Wuji's two palms slammed into the Titan giant ape, his entire body bounced away as fast as a cannonball. However, the Titan giant ape seemed to underestimate Zhao Wuji's strength. His entire head was slammed backwards. Soon after, this king of the forest burst out into a roar that could scare the sky. Tang San, utilizing his purple demon eye, clearly saw a wave of black erupt from the Titan giant ape. In the dark of the night, only he could clearly see this wave. Right after, no matter if it was Dai Mabai and himself attacking from the ground, or Zhu Zhuqin and Xiao Wu trying to attack from the trees, everyone was thrown flying by this terrifying black wave. The blue-silver grass that was wrapped around the Titan giant ape was shredded into pieces and didn't serve even the slightest use. Because Tang San saw the black wave come out, his reaction was the fastest. Backing away swiftly, even though he still went flying off, he could control his body just enough to catch Xiao Wu, who was also sent flying. Dai Mabai's power was, other than Zhao Wuji, the strongest. But because he was too close to Titan giant ape, when he was sent flying, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. The most unlucky was the sneaky fatty. All the phoenix firewire he spit out got sent back at him by the black wave. Even though he was using his second spirit ability fire-bathing phoenix, he still got heavily hit by his own phoenix firewire, making him roll on the ground all the way until he got to Tang San's feet and Tang San helped him steady himself. Fortunately, the fire was his own, so he didn't get burned. The Titan giant ape seemed enraged. At the same time as the black wave, its massive body finally moved drastically. With almost indiscernible speed it jumped up, its massive body falling from the sky, going straight at the center of everyone. As of now, Zhao Wuji was still in the air. He was sent flying diagonally upwards. Even if he wanted to aid the students, it was too late. Even though Tang San was alert of the Titan giant ape speed, he still underestimated the horrifying forest king in front of him. The incomparably enormous body flew at him at unreal speeds. The terrifying pressure felt like a mountain on everyone, making everyone feel like they couldn't breathe. This key moment showed everyone's varying reaction speeds. Tang San reacted fastest. Years of training on hidden weapons made his reflexes far beyond normal people. First throwing out Xiao Wu held in his arms, starting by getting her away from the Titan giant ape's leap attack. At the same time as throwing Xiao Wu, he kicked Fatty in his blubbery butt, making him slide away along the ground. Simultaneously, using the force from the kick he rolled away horizontally. At the last possible moment leaving the range of the Titan giant ape's impact. The time provided to Tang San was way too short. Even though his reaction speed was amazing, he only had enough time to save the people beside him, Xiao Wu and Ma Hongjun. Dai Mabai's reaction speed was second only to Tang San's. The moment he saw the Titan giant ape jump into the air, he didn't have Tang San's speed to let himself and Zhu Zhuqin nearby leave the range of the Titan giant ape. But still he had his own ways. Dai Mabai sharply stretched out his hand, the claws of the tiger paw extending as long as they could, just enough to pull Zhu Zhuqian into his arms. Although this left 3 gashes on Zhu Zhuqian's back, there was no time to care about that. At the same time, he hit the ground with his palm, making a giant pit. The moment Zhu Zhuqian entered his embrace, he immediately hugged her and fell into the pit. At this life and death moment, Dai Mabai's mind was very calm. He knew, no matter how big the Titan giant ape was, it would still hit the ground with a flat surface. As long as he was under the ground, he could avoid being squashed. And the deep pit on the ground was just for that. Backing up a bit, even if he himself gets squashed, Zhu Zhuqian, who was under him, would be able to avoid getting hurt. Even though Zhu Zhuqian is an agility-type spirit master, when she fell into Dai Mabai's embrace, her mind blanked. At the same time the stinging pain from her back came, everything became black. Right after, giant quakes went through her entire body, the vibrations almost causing her to faint. Oscar's reaction was undoubtedly the slowest, but he wasn't stupid. In fact, he was smarter than Dai Mabai. He didn't have the power to create a pit in the floor, but he jumped out at almost the same time as Dai Mabai. Dai Mabai needed to use his tiger claws to pull Zhu Zhuqian from afar into his embrace. Oscar, on the contrary, very bluntly pushed Ning Rongrong onto the ground under him, hugging her while falling onto the ground. The Titan giant ape walked around with all 4 limbs, Oscar thought. If he landed with all 4 limbs as well, then as long as him and Ning Rongrong fell onto the floor, then they had a chance to survive. Even if he was really unlucky and actually got squashed, he would still die hugging a beauty. As the saying goes, die under a peony and be licentious even as ghost. Hugging a beauty from the 7 treasure glazed tile school down to hell isn't a bad deal. Ning Rongrong of course didn't know what Oscar was thinking. Her body wasn't as sturdy as Zhu Zhuqian's. Getting thrown onto the ground by Oscar, she fainted from the impact. Peng, the Titan giant ape landed with a boom. What made Oscar happy was, just as he thought, the Titan giant ape landed with 4 limbs, and he and Ning Rongrong were just under the Titan great ape's lower abdomen. Other than a strong quake, they didn't get hurt whatsoever. But at this time, Tang San, who rolled away the moment the Titan great ape fell, felt ice cold inside, because he clearly saw the Titan great ape's forearm abruptly raise and catch Xiao Wu, who he threw into the air in an attempt to save her. "No, let Xiao Wu go." Watching Xiao Wu fall into the Titan great ape's hand, Tang San's eyes became red. Not waiting for his body to steady on the shaking ground, he kicked the ground and leaped upwards. Lending power from a nearby tree, he flew up. His hands passed over his belt lightning fast. 10 glinting weapons flew out, aiming straight for the Titan great ape's eyes. The eyes were one of the Titan great ape's rare weaknesses. Tang San's heart had fallen down to the bottom already. He knew clearly that with the Titan great ape's strength, if it squeezed even slightly, Xiao Wu wouldn't survive, no matter how flexible she was. Zhao Wuji had also finally landed, and he saw the same scene of Xiao Wu falling into the Titan giant ape's grasp. At this kind of moment, how would Zhao Wuji still hold back reserves? Bellowing at the sky, the 7th spirit ring over his body abruptly erupted in deep black. Intense black light in a flash enveloped Zhao Wuji. Immediately after, huge changes began to take place in his body. After vigorous Vajra bear body enhancement, Zhao Wuji's already magnificent body rapidly swelled like balloon. In an eye blink, his height already surpassed 5 meters, the muscles over his whole body swelling to exaggerated shapes, brown hair growing like crazy, unexpectedly entirely becoming like a genuine giant bear. As his body completely changed into a bear shape, the light brown fur discolored in a flash, sparkling with bright golden light. Incarnated as a bear, Zhao Wuji without hesitation pounced as a vigorous Vajra bear at the arm that held Xiao Wu. The 7th spirit ring of all spirit masters with spirit beasts after reaching 70th rank was similar, that was spirit avatar. Same as the 30th ranked Spirit Master bottleneck, 70th ranked was also the same. For Spirit Masters with Spirit Avatars Beast Spirit, strength would substantially upgrade. At the same time, this ability could only be especially effective for them when their life depended on it. What Zhao Wuji used right now was his 7th Spirit Ring ability. It was also the most powerful Spirit Ring ability Spirit Avatar with the most potent side effect. What he revealed was equivalent to the Spirit Vigorous Vajra Bear itself. Under the use of Spirit Avatar, he could limitlessly employ apart from Spirit Avatar the 7 rings or lower for 30 minutes, at 150% of the original might. An additional terrifying property of Vigorous Vajra Bear's Spirit Avatar was also to increase defense by 200%. This was already Zhao Wuji's last redoubt. Of course, after each time using Spirit Avatar, the Spirit Master's own attributes would weaken by 50%, requiring 7 days to recover. Therefore, unless absolutely essential, Spirit Masters over 70th rank would never easily use their Spirit Avatar. Zhao Wuji, fully using Spirit Avatar, immediately received the full attention of the Titan Giant Ape. After all, in this situation Zhao Wuji was already capable of being a threat to it. At the same time, the Titan Giant Ape only did one simple action, making Tang San lose the full strength of his unleashed hidden weapons. He closed his eyes. Ding 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 ding. In a concentrated string of successive clear sounds, all the hidden weapons flying at the Titan Giant Ape's eyes were completely blocked by its eyelids. Simultaneously, the Titan Giant Ape suddenly stood upright, the hand holding Xiao Wu avoiding Zhao Wuji's charging attack, but his other arm rigidly colliding with Zhao Wuji's body. Hong, fully employing the Spirit Avatar ability, Zhao Wuji was truly powerful, with defense increasing 200% and with Vigorous Vajra Bear body. This time he was not directly thrown away. Despite this, as a physical strength type Spirit Master, in the end the difference in strength with the Titan Giant Ape was too much. With a loud sound, Zhao Wuji staggered back 7 or 8 steps before managing to stand firm. But to that Titan Giant Ape it seemed like the exchange hadn't happened, mouth once again issuing a bellow. As the black wave's full strength hit, Tang San with his hidden weapons were blasted off together into the distance, heavily striking a large tree. Don't! Xiao Wu, seeing how Tang San was blasted off, cried out in alarm. The Titan Giant Ape lowered its head to look at Xiao Wu held in its palm, once again issuing a deep howl. This time, he did not pay any attention to Zhao Wuji pouncing again, abruptly leaping up. With just one rise and fall, it was already 100 meters away, merging with the forest and disappearing out of sight. Xiao Wu, Zhao Wuji called out swiftly, wanting to chase after, but discovering his gap in speed compared to the Titan Giant Ape truly was too far. But the power of the shock the Titan Giant Ape gave him just now almost broke his Spirit Avatar. Right now his spirit power was substantially consumed. He knew that even if he caught up it would already be useless. When Tang San slid from the large tree, the corners of his mouth were already completely blood-stained. The injuries he had received clearly were not light. Fatty Ma Hongjun stood up with his face filthy with mud and grime, massaging his butt kicked by Tang San. Ning Rongrong had already awoken from fainting, with Oscar lending an arm to help her stand, but because she was still somewhat muddled, she half hung on Oscar. Dai Mabai holding Zhu Zhuqing crawled out of the big hole he had blasted. Everyone looked at each other, all had a kind of feeling of a new lease of life. If this was a squad just consisting of Spirit Masters, only losing one member when confronting the Forest King Titan Giant Ape, this was already a matter deserving celebration. But they were not just a Spirit Master squad, but rather students. Zhao Wuji couldn't accept not knowing the fate of his student grabbed by the Titan Giant Ape. Tang San was even more unable to accept it. Resisting the acute pain within his body, Tang San crawled up off the ground, wanting to stand steadily, but with a vomiting sound belched up a mouthful of fresh blood. The wave released from the Titan Giant Ape's body gave people an indomitable feeling. Even though Tang San's body was sturdy, Such a heavy strike made his insides churn, as if his 5 viscera and 6 bowels had all switched places. Fortunately, mysterious heaven skill in itself possessed wonderful curative uses. Without him needing to drive it, it already very quickly calmed the qi and blood churning in his body. Tang San silently walked up before Oscar. Oscar hastily handed over a recovery sausage to him, thinking to say something, but in the end did not find the words. Tang San without the slightest hesitation swallowed the recovery sausage. Under the effect of the sausage's recovering power, the condition of his injuries was immediately relieved somewhat. Oscar's recovery sausage was after all his first spirit ring ability. Although it had a certain effect for treatment and recovering physical strength, it could not instantly cure any injury. Treatment required a process. The body simultaneously also needed to recover on its own. By now Zhao Wuji, already unable to continue maintaining his spirit avatar, now himself, his complexion ashen, how could a Titan giant ape appear at the outskirts of Stardew Great Forest? I let everyone down. It's all my failure, unable to stop him from snatching Xiao Wu. Tang San, your grief. No one could believe in the odds of Xiao Wu surviving being snatched by the Titan giant ape, including Zhao Wuji. No, I'm not blaming you. I was the one who didn't protect Xiao Wu. Tang San, since climbing up off the ground, had continuously kept his head lowered. His voice was very calm, as if his mood was not at all disturbed. Zhao Wuji sighed. Everyone first rest at once. Afterwards we'll switch location and take our time making a decision. At this moment, in Oscar's ears suddenly echoed a voice like a tiny mosquito, but also clearly inimitable sound. Little owl, if you still are my brother, give me a mushroom sausage. Don't make a sound, don't let anyone see. Oscar was startled. He clearly distinguished this voice as belonging to Tang San. Only, not even Ning Rongrong, supported by him, reacted. Apparently he was the only person who could hear this voice. As he looked towards Tang San also just raised his head, their 4 eyes meeting. Oscar lightning fast raised his hand to his face to cover his mouth, to prevent any sound of alarm. Tang San's eyes had currently become completely blood red as if bleeding, looking unspeakably monstrous. From his eyes, Oscar was able to deeply feel a kind of severe cold, making it difficult to speak. However, Oscar did not summon his mushroom sausage, because he knew what Tang San would do. Precisely because he was Tang San's brother, he even more could not let him go to his death. But, seeing Tang San's blood-red eyes, he was still unable to speak a single word. The mushroom sausages he made previously when the Titan giant ape issued that black wave had already fallen. Who knew where? Only by remaking them could he have new ones. Fortunately, the previous time period was brief. He had not managed too many, and his spirit power consumption was not large. The tiny voice once again echoed, "Little owl, if it was your little sister being snatched, what would you do? Even if it only was a hope, I still have to try it. I beg of you, if I don't go right now, then, this will become my lifelong regret. Give me a mushroom sausage. As long as I don't die this time, little San will forever remember your favor." "Don't mind it," Oscar sighed. Although he didn't know what he would do if he was in Tang San's place, he currently clearly understood Tang San's frame of mind. As a man, some matters had to be done. Oscar fiercely clenched his teeth. This was the first time it was so difficult to chant his vulgar spirit incantation. Right now, his soft vulgar voice to Tang San's ears was just like life-saving heavenly music. Tang San speaking to Oscar couldn't be heard by other people, but Oscar reciting his incantation could not, like Tang San, conceal his voice. Volume 5, Stardew Forest, Chapter 32, Wicked Butcher, Man-Faced Demon Spider. Ning Rongrong at Oscar's side sobered from her half-conscious condition, startled, saying, "Little owl, what are you doing?" Ning Rongrong's voice immediately aroused the others' attention. Zhao Wuji was also an intelligent person, and his immediate realization was anything but reassuring. Unfortunately, they were still one step too late. Tang San became the first person to eat a mushroom sausage. 6 illusory wings swiftly appeared at his back, and in the split second Zhao Wuji pounced. He brought his body to rise into the air. I'm sorry, Teacher Zhao. I have to find Xiao Wu. Even if she is already dead, I still must retrieve her body. By now, everyone at last saw Tang San's blood-red eyes. Naturally, they understood the extreme grief in his heart. 7 treasure words, second spoken, speed. Ning Rongrung's clear voice echoed. A line of brilliantly colored light floated in the air to Tang San, making the 6 illusory wings on his back immediately beat faster. Little San, go quickly. I'll support you. I've increased spirit power output. The accelerating effect should be able to last for 1 minute outside of my spirit power range. Definitely find Xiao Wu, she's my roommate as well. Ning Rongrong, as if not seeing Zhao Wuji's murderous gaze, spoke in a loud voice to Tang San. Tang San looked deeply at Ning Rongrong. He did not say anything, because he didn't know if he still would have an opportunity to thank Ning Rongrong. Already under the soaring effect of the mushroom sausage, he faced the direction the Titan giant ape had disappeared and flew off. You, Zhao Wuji looked at Oscar and Ning Rongrong, already so angry he was speechless. Oscar said with a wry smile, Teacher Zhao, you also saw Little San's eyes. If we didn't let him go, I'm afraid he still would have chased after on foot. I can understand his frame of mind. If you must blame someone, blame me. Zhao Wuji furiously said. Blame? What blame? Immediately give me your mushroom sausage. As we pursue, everyone go together. Dead or dying. Dying together is fine. Anyone who doesn't want to go, at once get out of Stardew Great Forest. Although Zhao Wuji's voice was angry, hearing his words, everyone's faces all showed expressions of unwavering determination. Even Fatty Ma Hongjun nodded. Dai Mabai, pulling Zhu Zhuqing's hand, strode over, simply saying, Oscar. Quick. Ever since he crawled out of the hole holding Zhu Zhuqing, he had continuously held her hand. When he saw Xiao Wu being snatched, he all along thought, if the one being snatched wasn't Xiao Wu but Zhu Zhuqing, how would he act? Perhaps he would be even more emotional than Tang San. Perhaps it was because of the feeling of crisis that he all along held on to Zhu Zhuqing's ice-cold little hand. No matter how Zhu Zhuqing struggled, he still didn't let go. Zhu Zhuqing also hadn't struggled much. Right now, her ice-cold face already couldn't be seen, occasionally glancing at Dai Mabai, her entire person clearly somewhat taciturn. The Titan giant ape ran quickly within the forest. He already seemed completely unhindered by Stardew Great Forest's terrain. Whatever the obstacle in front, it would not slow down at all, and also wouldn't really bump into anything. The enormous body displayed astonishing agility. Each time it leapt, it was able to move forward 100 meters. Although the quantity and categories of spirit beasts in Stardew Great Forest was numerous, each and every one could sense its smell, without exception retreating 3 days' march. Who would dare obstruct the path of this frightful forest king? Although Tang San had Oscar's mushroom sausage's flying effect and was able to rely on the phoenix tail crest serpent's flying speed, compared to this Titan giant ape, he was still too slow. Furthermore, the Titan giant ape didn't at all advance in a single direction. Tang San basically would not have a chance of catching up. If everyone from Shrek Academy saw the appearance of the Titan giant ape moving forward, they would certainly be greatly shocked. Because, currently Xiao Wu already wasn't held inside its giant hand, but sat upright on the Titan giant ape's broad shoulder. Even though the Titan giant ape rushed forward quickly, it was still extremely steady. Sitting on his shoulder, Xiao Wu didn't even feel a bit of shaking. Right now Xiao Wu's face was completely covered by a worried expression, occasionally glancing in the opposite direction of where the Titan giant ape was rushing. Ming, right here. Don't continue. I have to hurry back as fast as possible. Otherwise, they'll be worried. Ming, you really shouldn't have come to find me. Hearing Xiao Wu's words, the Titan giant ape unexpectedly miraculously halted. Moreover, it lay down, letting Xiao Wu drop off his shoulder. The big head shook, in the eyes unexpectedly revealed an innocent expression. Xiao Wu, muttering to herself, said, Little San was injured. I was taken away. He will definitely be extremely worried. Little San, you mustn't by any means be impulsive. I will return immediately. Ming, the next time you sense my smell you must first watch from a distance. You must by no means act rashly, otherwise, if by chance you injure my friends it will be troublesome. Xiao Wu today had seen the extremely towering creature, but she basically couldn't explain those kinds of circumstances to the Titan giant ape before her, and could only use special methods to repeatedly tell it not to injure anyone. But she was finally still brought away by the Titan giant ape. Even if Xiao Wu knew it was worried, but, in this situation was still nothing Xiao Wu wanted to see. Especially Tang San's injuries gave her even greater concern. The Titan giant ape seemed to understand Xiao Wu, the lantern-like eyes brilliant, expression exceptionally gentle. Xiao Wu raised her head to look at the Titan giant ape. Ming, is Da Ming well? The Titan giant ape nodded. Xiao Wu said, that's good. I'm afraid my companions are worried. I have to go back immediately. Since I was brought away by you, I might as well complete my third spirit ring and not have to look for an opportunity again next time. I will begin right now. You stand watch for me. I'm sorry, Ming. Although I wouldn't help them kill spirit beasts, I also can't prevent them. The Titan giant ape Ming shook its head, suddenly emitting a deep unhappy growl. Its voice didn't sound loud, but transmitted no less than a kilometer. Within this range all spirit beasts were terrified, lightning fast leaving their territory to flee outwards. Xiao Wu was worried about Tang San's condition and did not dare delay longer, directly sitting cross-legged in front of Ming. Both hands made graceful pinching hand movements, right hand palm up, resting flat on her thigh, left hand upright at her chest, mouth starting to emit a series of bizarre sounds. Following this bizarre sound, Xiao Wu's both eyes gradually became red, 2 yellow spirit rings quietly appearing, rhythmically moving up and down around her body. Simultaneously, an enormous white empty shadow took shape behind her, unexpectedly exactly the shape of her spirit jade rabbit. Faint red light gradually spread from Xiao Wu's body, and as time passed, the red light became more and more intense, the scarlet light filling the surroundings like blood. The Titan giant ape Ming lay down next to Xiao Wu, watching Xiao Wu within the red light, in both enormous eyes displaying a somewhat longing light. Time gradually passed. Within that intense red light a layer of purple gradually showed, the purple light like points of starlight condensing, awesomely gathering in a round ring. The purple ring lowered, settling over Xiao Wu's body. When starting just now, it was still somewhat unable to harmonize together with the other 2 rings of light, but as the red light strengthened, the purple ring also gradually steadied. Awesomely it was precisely a 1,000-year spirit ring. Let alone other people, even if Tang San's teacher was here, that regarding spirit research most profound grandmaster, would perhaps still be unable to understand what had just happened to Xiao Wu, even more unable to understand why she was able to produce her own spirit ring. Along with the third spirit ring's appearance, Xiao Wu's bodyline seemed to have become even more harmonious, the entire person looking a bit older, whether it was chest or butt, they still appeared somewhat rounder, female characteristics also becoming even more perfect. Only the childish nature on her face somewhat lessened. At the same time, that empty white jade rabbit shadow behind her became much clearer after the third spirit ring appeared. Leaning against the side of a tree, Tang San gasped big mouthfuls of breath. Oscar's flying mushroom sausage only allowed for 1 minute of flight. Despite Ning Rongrong's spirit assistance, Tang San could still only fly less than 3 kilometers before falling out of the air. Throughout the entire flight, Tang San already used his purple demon eye to the limit, to be able to look for the Titan giant ape's silhouette. But everything turned out contrary to expectations. His most extreme eyesight still would not reveal any trace of the Titan giant ape. Tang San was not resigned. He truly was not resigned. Throughout the flight, all kinds of things continuously came and went flashing through his mind. The lively Xiao Wu, her mysterious soft skill, recognizing him as her elder brother, following silently, lovable charming appearance, without exception made Tang San's heart ache as if cut by knives. Tang San had previously never believed that this world had gods, but right now he hoped, because he prayed to the gods, prayed Xiao Wu would be able to miraculously survive. Even though he couldn't fly further, Tang San still wouldn't give up. He staked it all on one direction and advanced at full strength, hoping to be able to find spider's thread and horse tracks. The spirit power within his body, helped by the recovery sausage, gradually recovered, but right now his physical strength was already somewhat overdrafted, with no choice but to stop a moment and catch his breath. Although the red in his eyes had declined somewhat, it was still unable to in the slightest degree ease his serious mood. Xiao Wu, you are definitely alive. Definitely. Tang San continuously told himself this. Taking a look at the terrain of the surroundings, Tang San sat down leaning against the big tree. He knew that if he wanted to continue searching for Xiao Wu, he first had to recover his strength a bit. From 24 moonlit bridges he pulled out a water skin, pouring out big mouthfuls, dampening his body and also preventing sleepiness. The gasps for breath gradually steadying, Tang San didn't dare cultivate, because nobody knew when they might encounter a spirit beast. He only wanted to wait for his physical strength to recover a bit before continuing the search. Suddenly, a burst of unusual sound attracted Tang San's attention. A rustling sound as if from a person changing clothes, also like tree leaves rustling. Suddenly alerted, Tang San slowly stood up, cautiously looking in the direction of the sound. Immediately after, he saw that sound was the origin of evil. Black, making Tang San full of loathing. This suddenly appearing animal was like the previous Titan giant ape, its body also appearing black. However, compared to the Titan giant ape, its body was much smaller. But compared to its own kind, it was still extraordinarily big. Appearing before Tang San was a spider, a monstrously big spider with the diameter of its bulk exceeding 1.50 meters, 8 spear-like legs exceeding 3 meters. Entirely covered by a glossy black carapace, the tip of the long legs was slender, and from each step forward noiselessly thrusting into the ground, it could clearly be seen how sharp they were. As Tang San discovered it, it seemed to also discover Tang San, the 8 long legs moving rhythmically at great speed, even leaving behind a string of mirages. In an eye blink it already arrived before Tang San. The 2 forelegs lifted in a flash, directly stinging towards Tang San's head. Raising the forelegs, it unavoidably also drove its body to rise above, just enough to let Tang San see its abdomen. This glance let Tang San recognize its kind. Tang San practically without hesitation dropped to the ground rolling, getting out of the way of the long-legged spider's attack, drawing an unexpected breath. He had not expected he would encounter it in this place. Under that spider's belly was a white veined pattern, forming a clear contrast to its black body, and these vein lines formed the shape of a fierce-looking human face. Altogether 8 flickering, faintly bright little eyes sat close together under its abdomen. However, among them 2 eyes had apparently been smashed by something, badly mangled and mutilated. Even the carapace under its abdomen had several cracks. Right now was night. If Tang San didn't use purple demon eye, he still truly would have been unable to see these. Seeing that fierce-looking man face, Tang San called to mind the name of this spider before him. The nightmare of small-scale spirit beasts, the eater of living prey, the target of all spirit beasts' hatred, the terrifyingly evil butcher. These names were all used to describe this long-legged spider before him. It was known as the man-faced demon spider. Among spirit beasts, it was categorized as a terrifying existence. Of course, compared to the Titan giant ape, it clearly wasn't on the same level. But this kind of man-faced demon spider was an organism even feared by spirit beasts. It possessed a solid carapace, a strange incomparable speed, 8 long legs possessing powerful piercing power and additionally extreme poison, but most dreadful was its spider web. Common spiders all formed their webs by spinning it, but it was different. Its spiderweb was directly spit out. Not only was it extremely sticky, moreover it was incomparably durable. in addition to its terrifying neurological venom. A spirit beast like Tang San's first spirit ring Datura snake, facing this man-faced demon spider before him, could only be reduced to food, nothing more. At the same time, this man-faced demon spider was also one of the top goals Grandmaster had directed Tang San for his third spirit ring. Grandmaster once told him, man-faced demon spider was the most difficult to obtain, and he must not by any means try to look for it. Because meeting a man-faced demon spider, even if he had the assistance of formidably strong spirit masters at his side to subdue it, he would still very easily meet danger. The man-faced demon spider did not only spit out its spider web in an eye blink, but was also able to cover an area 10 times itself, practically impossible to dodge. Even if it was trapped by formidable spirit masters, it still required time to be able to struggle free. But this time was enough for it to be very eventful. Tang San hadn't expected to encounter a man-faced demon spider under circumstances like these. From looking at its figure, it clearly exceeded 1,000 years of cultivation. The man-faced demon spider could spit its web 3 times in one day. Generally speaking, on seeing prey, its first action would be to spit its web. But, right now it was relying on its long legs to attack. In addition to the injuries on its abdomen, this let Tang San think of a possibility. This man-faced demon spider had already used up its spider web for today. Confronting a normal condition man-faced demon spider, Tang San knew he didn't have any chance, but if it was an injured man-faced demon spider, that wasn't so certain. After all, he clearly understood the man-faced demon spider's weak points, precisely its 8 eyes. How could it still possibly compare to that previous forest king? If he was able to kill the man-faced demon spider before him, and absorb its spirit ring, then he could practically be certain that his body's condition would immediately be able to recover to its peak degree. Strength would also increase somewhat, and looking for Xiao Wu would naturally also become a bit easier. These thoughts flashed through Tang San's mind. As he flipped over to stand, blue-silver grass binding ability already launched, countless long and thick blades of grass abruptly twined around the man-faced demon spider's body. Tang San knew that relying on the man-faced demon spider's physical strength, cutting open his blue-silver grass binding was not at all a problem. The additional poison on blue-silver grass basically had no effect on it, as it had its own highly poisonous nature. The man-faced demon spider, apart from neurotoxin, also had corrosive poison, the reason why it was so tyrannical. These were all things Tang San wished to have in his blue-silver grass. Therefore, obtaining this spirit ring was extremely important to him. Turning over and up, in Tang San's left hand were already many black boxes. His right hand lightning quick moved to and fro above the black boxes, issuing a succession of mechanical noises. The man-faced demon spider was still faster than Tang San imagined. Blue-silver grass restriction clearly made it angry. A faint layer of purple gloss spread from its body, the blue-silver grass adhering to its body unexpectedly melting away. In other words, it was corrosive. As blue-silver grass corroded a certain degree, the man-faced demon spider threw it off completely unhindered, once again dashing in Tang San's direction. This time, its 4 front limbs were already raised. Clearly it was about to deal Tang San a sure kill attack. Tang San looked extremely cool-headed at the man-faced demon spider, right hand lightning quick stroking from his waist, 10 white lights shooting out simultaneously, going straight for the eyes on the man-faced demon spider's abdomen. As expected, the man-faced demon spider was extremely protective of its vitals. In addition to already having 2 eyes suffer injuries, unable to attack Tang San, extremely quickly it crawled on the ground, the hidden weapons striking the carapace on its body, emitting a series of sparks. But at this moment, Tang San also completed the black box mechanisms in his hand. Tang San could now be completely certain, this man-faced demon spider confronting him had already spit out the spiderweb it could use today. A 1,000-year man-faced demon spider was able to use spiderweb 3 times per day. Only if it reached the 10,000-year cultivation level would this number increase. Adding the injuries it had already suffered, Tang San could be even more certain in his conjecture. Otherwise, with the man-faced demon spider's ruthless personality, it would have been sure already to spit out spiderweb when confronted by his provocation, and not use its long legs to attack like right now. The man-faced demon spider was already thoroughly infuriated by Tang San. After resisting the hidden weapons, the purple shine that previously corroded the blue-silver grass appeared once again. Before it had even approached, already a smell stinging the nose came through, making people feel nauseous. But right now Tang San didn't withdraw again, watching the lightning-fast 8 long legs shoot up. As the demon-faced spider pounced, he on the contrary went to meet it. That in his hand already completely set up black box mechanism moved to his right hand, a black light flickering in his left hand, decorated with an odd patterned black little hammer quietly appeared in his grasp. Confronted with a life or death crisis, Tang San finally took out his second spirit. Even though this second spirit did not have any additional speary abilities, but, as Tang San's spirit power increased, its weight also continuously increased. The hammer itself did not appear to change much, but this little hammer's weight had by now already reached a terrifying 500 jin. Tang San knew that he only had one chance. With his current physical strength, in speed it was absolutely impossible to compare to the man-faced demon spider, consequently escape was impossible. But directly using hidden weapons to attack, with the man-faced demon spider's alertness it was still very difficult for him to cause any true injuries. After all, even if it was armor-splitting type hidden weapons, they still required the support of profound internal strength, and although Tang San's mysterious heaven skill already had some progress, the word, profound, was still far away. Black light pulsing, Tang San dashing forward suddenly came to a complete stop, but the man-faced demon spider's 4 forelegs had already lifted. This time, its speed was even faster. On the long legs all adhered that purple gloss brimming with corrosion, adding to its consciousness paralyzing poison, let alone being struck directly. Even if it was a small infection, it was sufficient to be fatal to Tang San. As the wicked butcher, the man-faced demon spider used this kind of method to devour unknown numbers of spirit beasts and spirit masters who penetrated deep into the Stardew Great Forest. The remaining 6 little eyes under its abdomen right now already gleamed with faint light. Just as those 4 3-meter-long legs, just like steel-tipped pikes, abruptly flashed, Tang San moved. Moving his left hand, Tang San had by now condensed his entire 30th-ranked spirit power into his left hand. In a moment the spirit power poured into that black little hammer. Between eye blinks, that black little hammer in his hand swelled to twice its size, the decorative designs on the surface suddenly becoming clear, twinkling with faint blue light. Swinging his left hand with full strength, that little hammer whistled out, smashing straight at the man-faced demon spider's torso. The man-faced demon spider's chest was armored and it was the most solid place on its entire body. Confronting Tang San's sudden attack, it habitually did not block. Spirit masters were able to sense within a certain range the intensity of a spirit beast's actual strength, and spirit beasts were equally capable of sensing a spirit master's strength. Originally this man-faced demon spider's strength was far above Tang San's. Only because of suffering injuries was it not so terrifying. But it was still able to determine that Tang San's strength wasn't equal to its own, and that his attack naturally wouldn't be able to cause any harm to its most powerful carapace. Consequently, the man-faced demon spider did not take any action against that hammer flying towards its chest. The 8 long legs still pierced straight down, about to dispose of Tang San and have him as its food. Spirit masters with spirit power and spirit rings, to spirit beasts, were great supplementary food, able to increase cultivation by many years. Unfortunately, this time the man-faced demon spider miscalculated. After all, it didn't possess the wisdom of higher-level spirit beasts. How could its mind still compare to a human's? With a dull peng sound, the man-faced demon spider's downward pouncing body reversed up, its upper body smashed up into the air. The man-faced demon spider's judgment was correct. Even though that hammer aggregated Tang San's full spirit power, the hammer's own weight reaching a frightful 500 jin, but it was still unable to break open its chest armor. The carapace was intact, but the power of this hammer truly was too great. The black little hammer infused with Tang San's entire spirit power. The weight of this hit carried 1,000 jin. Although it was unable to truly injure the man-faced demon spider, it still managed to smash its body back up. This strike was originally the last spirit ability Tang San and Xiao Wu together suffered when they faced the Tai brothers in Spirit Arena Ring. At that time the Tai brothers used this all-in-one throw to injure Tang San. Pondering about the painful experience, Tang San carefully reflected on this all-in-one throw technique. He recalled, he also had the hammer. Although it didn't have additional spirit rings, couldn't it use this move? Although he was unable to, like the Tai brothers' spirit ability, give the hammer a pursuing capability, he still had hidden weapon techniques, and regarding precision, in no way would he be inferior to the Tai brothers' all-in-one throw. The weight of Tang San's hammer already reached a frightful 500 jin on its own. Even if it didn't absorb his whole spirit power, when thrown it was already absolutely a powerful hidden weapon. Consequently, Tang San since that time had already practiced it several times. Although this black hammer was heavy, he also wasn't a child who had just awakened his spirit power. Within 10 meters, he could completely control the hammer's precision. Right now, at this most critical moment using this move, although exhausting Tang San's entire spirit power, it already gave the effect he anticipated. The man-faced demon spider's upper body smashed up, automatically revealing its lower abdomen. That white-veined pattern like a fierce evil man's face momentarily enlarged before Tang San, those 6 still open faintly purple eyes brimming with dense cold and terrible light. On Tang San's composed face was not a ripple. He raised his right hand straight up. What was the strongest advantage to mechanism-type hidden weapons? That was not needing to rely on any internal strength support to be able to generate their powerful killing power. In Tang San's previous life, an unskilled martial artist once took Tang Sect's first-rate mechanism-type hidden weapon Torrential Rain Pear Blossom Needle to easily kill a peak expert. This was Tang Sect's strongest area. Right now in Tang San's hand, this seemingly unremarkable, only 1 chi long black box, would use this power on the man-faced demon spider confronting him. Gabeng, 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 a series of mechanical cracks echoed from Tang San's right hand. Lines of jet black shadow shot out together. Tang San's wrist rocked slightly, partly to dissipate the jolting force from the black box, partly to maintain accuracy. With his skill, in such close range, how could he possibly lose precision? One must know, the majority of mechanism-type hidden weapons Tang San made used noiseless mechanisms. Such capability could even easier injure the enemy. But for what reason did the black box mechanism in his hand still make these noises? Of course the issue wasn't Tang San's crafting skill. That could prove only one thing. In order to pursue the might of this black box, Tang San gave up on noiseless mechanisms to make this mechanism-type hidden weapon display its most terrifying firepower. Altogether 16 shadows flew out. Under Tang San's precise control, the 16 shadows did not let even the man-faced demon spider's already injured 2 eyes escape. Each eye was pierced by 2 shadows, between eye blinks completely disappearing inside the man-faced demon spider's body. Although the man-faced demon spider's eyes were its weak points, they also weren't without protection. On the surface of the eyes was a transparent protective layer whose defensive power was also considered pretty good. But, before the shadows that spit out from the black box in Tang San's hand, this defensive layer was unexpectedly like rice paper. Without having even the slightest effect, it was clearly seen just how powerful the piercing power of these shadows was. When previously confronting the Titan giant ape, Tang San did consider using this hidden weapon, but the situation at that time changed too rapidly, leaving him without the opportunity to use this hidden weapon. Although this hidden weapon's might is great, because the mechanism's launching power was too excessive, as a result each time it was used it had to be prepared on the spot, otherwise, over time the taut mechanism would be damaged. Consequently, When facing the Titan giant ape, Tang San didn't use it. Right now, confronting the man-faced demon spider, Tang San finally took out this most overbearingly large caliber weapon among all his hidden weapons. That 1 chi or more little black box did not look it, but its weight already exceeded 30 jin. Right hand finished shooting, Tang San without hesitation made his next move. Swiftly leaping back, directly into a roll, his body moving away 10 meters or more. See, an ear-piercingly sharp sound mournfully cry called out, in the dark sounding especially clear. The next moment after those 16 shadows entered the body of the man-faced demon spider, that black carapace covering its body abruptly stiffened at once. Immediately afterward, the whole body abruptly flipped over, violently raging on the ground. This way, the nearby plants at once toppled like so much large fungi. What is called a centipede dies but never falls down. Although this man-faced demon spider didn't have 100 feet, its vitality was still extremely tenacious. Those 16 shadows that shot into its 8 eyes already completely entered within its head, but unexpectedly not even this kind of injury could let it die on the spot. Purple light and blue liquid, in addition to its sturdy body, twisted and raged madly on the ground. Weak plants were corroded in a moment, even bulky trees were shattered when struck by it. Within 10 square meters was a complete mess, already without any kind of plant that could stay intact. After Tang San rolled away 10 meters, he didn't stop. Resisting the weak feeling in his body, he quickly withdrew from the attack range of the man-faced demon spider. He knew, if this man-faced demon spider hadn't already suffered fatal injuries, then, even if it couldn't see, it could still rely on his scent to find his location. At last he felt he was safe. Tang San's both legs softened, no longer able to resist, fell down on his butt on the spot, gasping big mouthfuls of breath. Even the black box in his hand he already held somewhat unsteadily. The flying hammer without the support of his spirit power had already automatically disappeared. That hammer completely emptied Tang San's spirit power. Right now he had completely exhausted both his spirit power and physical strength. If it wasn't for the idea of searching for Xiao Wu supporting his body, perhaps he would already have passed out. The man-faced demon spider's churning became smaller and smaller, the carapace all over its body covered with that blue and purple sheen. Purple-black liquid continuously flowed from the cuts in its 8 eyes. Soon it was no longer alive. Tang San knew before setting about the task, even if he used this black box in his hand to shoot the man-faced demon spider, he might not be able to penetrate its carapace armor, but if it was only shooting at its weak points, at the man-faced demon spider's eyes, the defense couldn't do like the Titan giant ape and close its eyes. Relying on a hidden weapon expert's cool head and his own made superior quality hidden weapons, he at last could be considered having survived this crisis. As the man-faced demon spider's life gradually faded, points of blue-purple light began to condense above it, making it possible to absorb its spirit ring. After a 1,000-year spirit beast died, the spirit ring could be maintained for 1 double hour. As long as it was within 1 double hour, it could be absorbed. Tang San was in no hurry to absorb the man-faced demon spider's spirit ring. Right now his body's condition truly was too lacking. He was unable to determine this man-faced demon spider's precise cultivation age, but could be certain it definitely exceeded 1,000 years. Spirit beast spirit rings also had many differences. The 1,000-year phoenix tail crest serpent Oscar previously absorbed belonged to a comparatively gentle kind of spirit beasts. Absorbing its spirit ring naturally also wasn't difficult. But this man-faced demon spider before him was different. Among spirit beasts it was definitely a vicious and ruthless existence. With regard to this, although its spirit ring was able to grant even greater amplification effects, the process of absorbing it was also more dangerous. In order to support it, a spirit master had to endure the shock of this kind of ruthless energy. When the body or will was unable to persevere, it was very possible to cause a fatal backlash effect.